What's going on, guys? Thanks for watching Keep Calm and Game On. In this episode, we're playing some more Darkest Depths. We just got a new update today, or maybe it was yesterday. Probably, well, it's going to be yesterday in about 2 minutes because it's almost past midnight. But I just want to jump on, stream a little bit, and give some of my thoughts, some of my initial feedback. I'm kind of tired at the moment, so I'm probably not going to get all my thoughts out there. This is just probably just going to be a little chill stream. But, you know, whenever I play this game, I just kind of spit out ideas and spit out any kind of comments I think of during the gameplay. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to hop in, we're going to hit new game, and we're going to try it out. I have played probably about at least an hour of it already. But yeah. And I know the developer said he kind of tweaked the jump ability, like he made it move a little bit faster. I said it was kind of like a little bit too much, so I think he fixed that, and he's going to put it back to the way it was, but that's not going to be implemented until he patches it in sometime in the very near future. But that's going to get patched, because right now it feels like it you go a little fast, like, because you can get like to one side of the room in one jump. There's also a sprint mechanic now, so you can hold the shift button and you can run a little bit faster. But having that sprint mechanic plus the added jump speed, it just makes everything feel way too fast. And it's super easy to like dodge enemies when you have that extra jump speed too, because you can just kind of strafe back and forth like this. So like with the old update, it took me like 15 hours of like total playtime to beat the game one time. With the new update and the new faster jumping mechanic, I beat it like on my 4th try. So it was definitely a lot easier. So yeah, he's gonna nerf that jump mechanic. But I do like the new running ability. You can move a little bit faster. That might need to be nerfed eventually, like in maybe a future update, because I still like the idea of like there being like a cooldown, like you having stamina, so you can't constantly sprint. Like you can do it in short bursts. But for now it works. I'm gonna keep playing and see how well it works. Just, you know, having it where you can just hold it down and run as long as you can. But I do like the idea of cooldown mechanics even on the weapons, but we're not going to get into that. So let's go and let's check it out. So I got my gun. Looks like my main weapon here is the rocket launcher. And he added a whole lot more environmental like obstacles and whatnot. So now you have these cool looking root things coming through the floor and kind of wrapping around certain pillars. So that looks really nice. And then you kind of have these little crystals popping out along the ground. So that adds a little bit nicer look. Slowly but surely, he's kind of like adding more things to the environment to kind of make it look a little bit more fleshed out, a little bit more pretty to look at. But and then you got these cool looking banner things as well. But we're just going to keep going. And we're going to go through the first door. Also, I think he added like this triangle type thing, this archway to every door. But now when you get close enough, the doors kind of open up like this, where before it was just kind of like a door and it just opened up all in one motion. Now it kind of, you know, obviously you can see it. And I was thinking with this door mechanic, like the lights have improved, and I know I complain about this every update. Like it's still not perfect. It's definitely better than when I first started playing the game. But the issue is because there's not a mini-map currently in the game, and there may never be a mini-map, just that might never happen. But, you know, having these different lights on the doorway. So, for example, I think it's blue if you haven't gone through it, and then it turns kind of a yellowish color if you have gone through it. And that's great, but the thing with these automatic doors is if you get like within a certain range, like within a couple feet, the door opens and then the light automatically changes. So if you're in a room and you're just trying to kill all the enemies and you accidentally walk too close to a door, that door is going to open behind you. You might not even notice. And then the light's going to change, and then you're going to kind of get confused again because you're like, did I go through that door, or is that a door I haven't gone through yet? So I think that can either be solved in a couple of ways. You can either make it so you have to like be really close to the door for it to automatically open, or you could put like a little keypad or some type of lever slash switch on every doorway that you actually have to press the F button to open the door. So that way, until you're ready to open a door, it won't open. I do kind of like the automatic effect, and you could still keep that, but if you press the button and then it opens, I think that would kind of feel cool, because it would give the player just one more thing that he has to do, or she has to do, in order to open the door. So I think it'd kind of be a cool mechanic to have, like, just a switch on it, or you just get close enough and hit the F button to open it if it's unlocked. Or even having the mechanic of some doors being locked where you have to, like, find a key to open the door. Because I've played a lot of roguelikes where, well, not tons of roguelikes, but I mean, I have played a lot. But there's a couple roguelikes that you have to, like, find keys, and this is even like in Zelda games where you have to find a key in order to open a door. So you kind of go through the level, kill all the bad guys, and then a certain bad guy will drop a key. You pick up the key, take it to the door, and it opens. And until you find that key, the door's not going to open. And that can cause some other issues in itself, because maybe you won't find the key, or maybe the key doesn't spawn, or, there's multiple reasons why that might not work every time. But I still kind of like the idea of having to find something in order to open a door. And I do really like the idea of having, like, a keypad or a switch that you have to actually hit the F button in order for the door to open, because I think that would solve the problem with the lights changing color. And that's just a couple ideas I had for solving the door issue, which for some people might not even be an issue, but I feel like it's a mechanic that isn't quite right at the moment, but it's getting there. Anyway, I think I just probably talked about 20 minutes about the doors, but we're going to keep going. Okay, so let's see what this update has to offer. We got some, and I really like these rooms here, just kind of long hallways where you have to kind of use your jump mechanic in order to get to the other side. So let's take these bad boys out. But there's been a lot of stuff that's been improved in this update. I guess I could have read you the change log, but we're just going to kind of go through and see for ourselves. But a lot of enemies have been improved. A lot of the movement has been improved. Like with these little guys with, like, the one arms, they used to kind of get stuck on the floor and just kind of twerk. I call them twerkers. That problem seems to be fixed for the most part. And another cool thing is when you get enough of the experience orbs, which are the yellow orbs that you pick up, these ones right here, when you get enough of these, that bar in the left corner fills up, and then if you press the F button, you can actually choose your upgrades now. So instead of it just randomly upgrading stuff, to be honest, I wasn't sure exactly how it worked in the previous update. I know it did things like it increased certain damages and whatnot, but I wasn't sure what. Now you actually get a pick for yourself. So it gives you an option between health, jump heights, and damage. And I think these kind of change up as well. Like, I think health is always there, damage is always there, but then the one in the middle kind of changes. So there's, like, jump height, and then I saw another one that was like, what is it? Like magnetism or something, where it's like it will make orbs come to you from a longer distance away. But I think the middle one sometimes changes. But for the most part, it's it's 3 different ones, and then you get to pick which one you want to upgrade. So I'm going to upgrade my health, and that upgrades it by 3. And every time you upgrade it, it will upgrade it by a different amount each time, depending on what the game decides needs to happen. But if you don't hit the F button, and you just keep running around trying to collect orbs, those orbs aren't actually going to go into your inventory unless you hit the upgrade button, upgrade, and then it kind of resets the orb meter, and then you can keep earning them. It also gives you full health. So let's see, which way do we go? I think we're supposed to go this way because there's an enemy over there, so we're going to go this way. Usually enemies mean that you haven't been there yet. Okay, so I'm going to take out that guy, take out that guy. Also, with this weapon, let me turn on my flashlight real quick. With this weapon, I've noticed that the main fire button, that one there, and the secondary fire button, they both shoot rockets, because obviously this is a rocket launcher. But if the main fire button wasn't a homing missile, I think that would be better, because you would be able to pick your shots a bit more, aim a bit more, and because a lot of times I'll be aiming at something, and the enemy that I wanted to hit, it actually doesn't hit that enemy, and the rocket goes and attracts to a different object, a different enemy, with both fire modes. With the secondary fire mode, it makes more sense because there's like 4 rockets or 5 rockets and they kind of home in on stuff. That looks really cool. But just having the one rocket, the main rocket for this one, if that just went in a straight line and followed, your crosshair, I think that would be better, because then you could pick your shots better. And I just think that then you have the best of both worlds. You got your homing missiles on the secondary, then you got just your straight firing missile on the default fire mode. So I'm just throwing that out there. Let's take out this guy real quick. Also, these mage guys, these wizards, they can put down kind of green bubble things, which I think they did before, but now the green bubble things actually slow down time a little bit if you walk into them. I think they also do damage, but they'll like slow down time, and there's a really cool slow down effect where it kind of slows the sound effects and the sounds as well, and it slows down your character too, so it sounds really cool when you're caught in one of those bubbles. Also, let's grab this real quick. Probably gonna die because I'm losing health. Let's continue onward. There's a lot of other stuff that's been added to the game. It's just, I'm drawing a blank at the moment. We'll see as we come across it though. But yeah, a lot of cool effects. So if I don't have my flashlight on, so he did kind of change the lighting, because before it was just this light bar. And again, you have that light bar, but the light kind of shines a bit brighter, so it kind of hits the ceiling now too, which is a nice effect. And also, like I said before, it has that that opening and close mechanic. We'll see, you get so close and then it opens by itself, which is kind of cool, right? But I still think either make it so there's a shorter distance, so you have to get pretty close to the door for it to open, or again, have to press the F button. Have to press some kind of button to actually open the door manually, because that could solve some problems. So we're gonna go through here. I don't think I've been in this room before. All right, let me take it out. Need more energy. So, for example, if I get inside this green thing, well, I ended up dying, but it did kind of slow me down a little bit. So there's like a lot of under the surface details that have been tweaked and fixed, and that's kind of cool too, that it kind of slows down time. I don't know if it's supposed to do that. That's kind of cool. Kind of after you die, it kind of just keeps the game going, but it slows everything down. Interesting. And again, I really like how these roots look. Really nice. And there's some bigger pillars and stuff as well. And just even the starting room has changed up quite a bit. You got some fallen statues, some stuff on the wall. And then before, when you walked up here, there'd be a couple of like, it'd be kind of a longer hallway. Now it just kind of cuts that off and gives you a door, so you're kind of in the action faster. Something I was thinking about was, instead of always randomly spawning with a secondary gun, instead of having that happen, and I think I brought this up a long time ago, and I'm kind of on the fence about it because I don't know if it would work that well or not, but instead of having it spawn a random weapon, it would be cool if it just spawned you with the default gun, which is this one here. Just spawned you with that, and then the only way to get other weapons would be to kind of progress through the level, and then you'd come across other weapons. So you'd be stuck with the main weapon until you found another gun. Obviously, you wouldn't start off with two, because I feel like this main gun, as soon as I pick up another gun, like straight off the bat, I very rarely use my main weapon, unless I get stuck with a rocket launcher, and the rocket launcher uses the energy for both the primary and secondary fire modes, so that you kind of have to switch back to this gun. But every other gun that doesn't take energy, you don't really use this main gun, and I feel like that's a real shame, because this is kind of a cool weapon, but it gets underutilized a lot. I feel like that problem would be fixed if you just kind of started off with this gun, and the only way to get other guns would not be to just walk over here and pick one up. It would have to be like, you kind of have to progress through a couple of rooms first, and then you'll have a chance to possibly like open a crate and there'll be a gun that you can grab, because I think that would be a lot better, because then you kind of get a little bit of practice in by going through a couple of rooms. And then when you open that first chest, you're like, sweet, what is this gun going to be? But at the same time, it doesn't start you off right away with the gun. So, because it's always felt a little bit weird to me where it just kind of spawns a weapon in the starting room. And you kind of have to walk over and pick it up. It would feel a lot more natural if you just kind of started with one weapon, went through a couple doors, and then maybe came across a box. And if you had enough gold, buy the gun, and then you get the weapon. But because I feel like you just don't use this main gun enough, and it just feels like almost a wasted slot a lot of the time. Unless, like I said, you spawn with the weapon like this, and where you have to kind of rely on your primary weapon a little more to recharge your energy up. But, just an idea, just a thought. I also recommended using kind of a weapon scroll wheel where you like press a button down, and maybe the tab button or something, and it would kind of slow down time. It would open up like a circular, wheel, kind of like in Grand Theft Auto, on the middle of the screen right around the crosshair, and then you would kind of just drag your mouse onto the gun you want to select. I think that would work really well, because right now the only way to switch weapons is to use the scroll wheel, which isn't terrible if you only have like 2 guns, but as you get further into the game, and as each run gets a little bit longer, depending on how good you get at the game, you're picking up multiple weapons. Sometimes, I think one time I had like 5 different guns in my inventory, and the only way to switch would be like to scroll through each one individually. And when you're running and gunning, you don't really have time to do that, because a lot of the guns won't even have energy to use. So you'll kind of like, you'll scroll to one, think you can use it, hit the button, you can't use it, you got to scroll to the next one. Just waste a lot of time. If you had that scroll wheel in the middle, I think you could just, pop that up for a second, drag your mouse to the one you want to select, and then boom, you're ready to go. And it would also kind of show which gun had ammo by either like, highlighting it, like making maybe the colors a bit brighter. And if that gun was out of ammo, maybe, have it like look black and white. There's ways to do it, I'm sure, but kind of that Grand Theft Auto type weapon wheel is something I suggested, and he said he's going to try to mess around with it, see how that would work. But I think that might make things a little bit easier, especially when you get more guns along the way. But let's continue here. So I think there's going to be, let me take out this real quick. And see, like with the primary fire on this gun, a lot of times I'll like want to hit a big beefy enemy, like a harder enemy to kill. I'll go to hit it, and then it kind of just goes off to the side and hits a smaller enemy that I wasn't even aiming at. So I think if you had this one, just shoot straight, and then the secondary one, lock on to stuff, then you get the best of both worlds, and everybody's happy. Okay, so let me take out this mage real quick. Try to take it out anyway. Come on, buddy. The developer also gave me a bunch of codes to the game, so I might try to do some giveaways in the near future. I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna work that out. Maybe I'll have you like follow him on Twitter and follow me on Twitter, or you'll have to like subscribe to the channel and follow him, or subscribe to him, something like that. I'm not sure how I'll do it, but I do got some codes he gave me, so I can give those away. I'm also going to try to give a couple codes to a couple of my streamer friends that have channels that are bigger than mine. So hopefully more people will be able to, see the game, get their eyeballs on it, and hopefully pick it up if they're interested. Because I know a couple streamers that have a much bigger audience than I do. So, but I will have a couple codes that I can just give away to some of my fan base. So look forward to that in the future. Again, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to go about giving those away. But we'll work it out. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm definitely liking this update. There's a lot of stuff in it. Like, it's like a 1 gig update. The thing about updates is when you put things into the game, you try them out. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they don't work. Sometimes the things you thought would work add other issues that you kind of have to go back and tweak, or they unbalance things, or, So there's going to be some tweaks here and there. Like, again, with the jumping that I mentioned at the start of the stream. It's a little too much right now, but he said he's going to go back and fix that. He said it feels a lot better. He's going to try to roll that update out pretty soon to patch that. I mean, and the game is definitely playable with this, with this mechanic, but I just feel like it feels a little bit too floaty at the moment, because you already have the sprint mechanic now. So you can move fast like that, but then you also have this, and you can strafe, and it just felt a little bit too easy, a little bit too floaty. So we'll see what happens with that. But let's continue here. Take these guys out. See, now I like how those missiles lock onto guys, but I would really like to have that main default missile just go wherever I shoot it. You know, you kind of have to aim it manually and not rely on the seeking ability of that missile. I also noticed that, now I don't know if this was the way it was before or not. I can't remember. But I noticed that you can kind of shoot the projectiles now of enemies. You can just shoot it and it stops it. I don't remember if it was like that before. I don't know if that's a new thing that was added with this new update. But at first I kind of liked it. And if this was the way it always was, then, you know, I apologize for bringing it up, but I feel like it's a new thing where because before I don't think you could shoot bullets. And I think that might be good to have for maybe certain guns. Maybe like have one gun have that ability where you can kind of shoot a bullet and it will stop it. But I think it does it with every gun. And I feel like that makes it a little bit too easy because a lot of times, you know, you'll be shooting an enemy, right? And you'll be shooting at the enemy, but then that enemy is also shooting you. But if you're already shooting at the enemy, every bullet that enemy shoots is just going to be negated because you're already shooting at it. Does that make sense? So that enemy that you're shooting at has really no chance of hitting you if you're holding down the fire button, because every projectile that it shoots at you is going to hit one of your bullets and just explode. And I feel like it wasn't like that before. I don't know if that's a new thing or if that's a glitch or if I'm just now noticing it. But I feel like that makes it a little bit too easy. So if you just had like one gun, maybe have that be like a perk of a weapon where you can actually shoot the projectiles, great. But to have it on every gun, it feels just a little bit too easy. But again, I can't remember if it was always that way or if it's something new. But it's just something I just saw recently. So just throwing it out there. Like to get your feedback on it. And the developer, he does watch my streams. I didn't post it in the Discord channel tonight because I feel like everybody's probably already asleep. But I will share this video tomorrow. And he likes to... The cool thing is the developer actually watches my streams because I give a lot of feedback. Sometimes it's good feedback. Sometimes it's just me wanting him to put tons of things into the game that he had no plan or intention of putting in the first place, and I just break the game entirely. But he still watches my videos and he still kind of takes the criticism and see how I play. So I like to think I kind of play test it in a way and give my feedback, because I say a lot of good things about things, and I also am very critical about some things. And a lot of times I'm just like super excited and I just throw everything plus the kitchen sink out there and see what sticks and see what he will put in. And sometimes I just harass the guy until he puts it in the game, like the flashlight. Man, I begged him for weeks to put this flashlight in, and I might be the only one that uses the flashlight, but I think it adds a lot to the game. Speaking of which, I suggested that instead of having this perfect dark filter, which is this one here, like he can definitely keep this in the game, because I kind of like how you can just switch it on the fly between filters. But like having that perfect dark filter be its own game mode in itself, where you could like select it from the main menu, because I feel like the more game modes you add to the game, the more value it's going to be for the players, because, you know, you buy a game and if there's different game modes, there's lots of different ways to play, and it's just more value for your money. And if this was a different game mode entirely, where everything's a little bit darker like this, you could add weapons and elements to that game mode that maybe wouldn't work with the normal game mode by just changing a normal filter. Like I had the idea of like using glow sticks, right? Well, there's only one filter in this current game that would need a glow stick, and that would be this filter right here. But it doesn't really make sense to have like an item only work with one filter. So if you made this its own game mode, you could, you know, come up with different ideas, like have a more powerful flashlight for the perfect dark mode, or have glow sticks for the perfect dark mode, or make some enemies you know, brighter for that particular game mode. So I kind of threw that out there. He said he's open to the idea, but he wants to kind of get the main game kind of as finished as possible before he starts adding new game modes. But just throwing it out there. I think it's a cool idea. Let me know what you guys think. But just having a mode where it's, you know, dark like this, where you could kind of add different elements to kind of fit that darkness would be pretty legit. Just saying. Okay, so anyway, let's continue. I'm gonna check my messages real quick. Don't think I got any. I heard somebody message me. It was just Netflix. It was just Netflix telling me there's something new to watch. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue onward. Okay, we already cleared out this room. And again, with this perfect dark mode, these little crystals on the floor, they really pop out. So I really like that. I also suggested like adding more of these kind of light bar elements, and kind of like how these obelisks, however you pronounce it, kind of have these light beam right here. I think that's a really cool effect. So I kind of suggesting adding more of that to like pillars, or having some of the like the stairs or walkways or floor elements kind of have, you know, some type of glowy element. You can kind of see it there. I don't know if that's a glitch or not. It might be a glitch, but you know, kind of adding some type of light. Looks like there is a light down there, but you know, because again, even if you have perfect dark mode be a totally separate mode, you could add elements like that to maybe just that game mode that wouldn't work with the normal game mode. But yeah, I really like these little rocks. They kind of pop out, make things look pretty cool. So let me just see. I don't got enough to open that. See, when you get close enough, you have to press the F button. If you got close enough to these doors, you could have that similar mechanic where you get close enough, hit the F button. If the door is unlocked, it opens. You know, something like that. Just an idea, because I think that might help solve the issue. Because see, I ran into the issue again here. See, that door is yellow. That door is also yellow. So which door have I been through? I can't remember, because I've been walking around talking. I can't remember. Because one of these doors was blue at a time, and that was the door I hadn't gone through. But then I got close enough, or I kind of backtracked, and yeah. See, I thought this was the right door, but this is the door I came from. So by having the ability to manually open the door, yeah, at least the first time, you know, like maybe not every time, but once you get to it and you hit the F button to unlock it, it opens up. And then when you get close enough, it'll manually do it. But at least then you wouldn't come into that problem of getting too close, it opening, changing color, and then you being kind of confused again. So we're going to go through this door. I'm going to try to take this guy out. See, when you kind of get into these bubbles, it slows down time a little bit. It slows down time for your character, and it kind of slows down the sound effects, which is nice. So I really like that. There's a lot of new stuff in this update. It's like a 1 gigabyte update, so he put a lot of stuff into this. It's one of the bigger updates since launch. Got the bounce gun now. So let's keep going. See, like that door is blue right now, so obviously I gotta go through that door. But if I'm over here running and gunning, shooting enemies like this, you know, not paying attention, the door opened behind me and it closed again. Now we run into that problem of both of the doors being yellow, and the confusion sets in again. See? But like I said, having it be so you have to actually either press a button on the side of the door or just walk up to it and hit the F button to unlock it. That could solve a lot of the problems we've been running into with the door mechanic. Well, I've been running into anyway. Some people, I'm probably sure, they don't even think about it. They're like, okay, a door, they walk through. But I think about these things. And the door thing just, it doesn't feel completely right yet. It's getting better. Every update, it's improving. But it's still not where I think it needs to be. Okay, so I think it's this door. Yep. And see, it used to be where a lot of the enemies would just jump at you. Now it's kind of only... I mean, the other enemies do jump at you, but it's a lot less than it used to be. Now it's kind of just focused on more of like one type, like these enemies here. Like these guys will kind of jump at you, and then they'll explode. But it's more varied now. So not every enemy just jumps at you, only certain kinds. And then other times, other enemies will jump, but it's a lot less often. So I'm going to upgrade again. Let's see, we can go with regeneration, which I'm pretty sure that... What does that do, actually? I'm pretty sure regeneration makes you... What does regeneration do? I think regeneration makes it so when you pick up the energy orbs, I think the orbs count for more. Like, you'll get more energy from each orb. Both the experience orbs and the energy orbs. I think that's how it works. So if you upgrade your energy, I think it just gives you more per energy orb that you pick up. At least that's what I think. I could be wrong, but I feel like that makes sense. Then you got your damage, which just increases your damage across the board, pretty sure. Then you got your regeneration. Wait, regeneration. Oh, that's your shield regeneration. Okay, so that's your shield regeneration. What does that mean? Regeneration. Oh, no. That'd be shield? Shield. Regeneration. But you don't have a shield. You might have a shield in some perks. I'm just assuming this is like no. I don't know. Because that's energy. Regeneration. Maybe that gives you more health? Like you'll regenerate health faster? Or you'll get more health per... You'll get more health per... But I thought there was a health one. I don't know. I'm kind of confused at the moment. The more I think about it, the more I get confused. I'm going to just upgrade the damage. And I think if I shoot these... Well, I know you can shoot the hands. But yeah, I can also block these green ones with the bounce gun. And again, I don't know if it was always that way or if that's a new thing. Maybe I'm just now noticing it. I also like the fact that he did tweak the coin mechanic. Because before you picked up coins, and it felt like they just attracted to your body way too fast. So like before you even saw the coin, it'd kind of be like in your inventory and you'd hear that coin sound, but you wouldn't always see it. Now it's slowed down a little bit, I think. And I think you might have to get a little bit closer to the coins for them to attract to you. I might be wrong, but I feel like it feels a little bit better. I don't know if he patched that with this update or from just imagining things, but I feel like it feels a little bit better. I don't know if it's perfect, right? I don't know if it's perfect yet, because I would prefer to, instead of just having like one big coin, maybe like 3 smaller coins. But I think I did bring that up, and he said the reason he didn't do it that way was because it like really hindered the performance of the game. So he kind of had to make a trade-off. But if there is some way to like keep performance good, but then have the coins maybe instead of one big coin, like I said, have like 2 smaller coins or like 3 coins. And also a little bit shinier. I think they are a little bit shinier, actually. I might be wrong, though. But again, I'm just nitpicking here. But it does definitely feel better. So, and he did put a lot of some secrets in here as well. So I think, yeah, I've done this secret before. I didn't stream it, but when I was playing earlier this morning, if you get up here and hit that little glowy thing up there, that little teleporty thing. I'm gonna see if I can do it. Probably gonna kill myself trying. If you hit that, it teleports you into this secret room, and basically you're just trying to survive in here. And it'll spawn some enemies, and if you kill all the enemies, it will give you something special. So, you did add some secrets into the game, which is nice. See, it kind of slowed me down. See that? Kind of slows me down a little bit. And it also slows down like the sound effects too, which is really sweet. Really cool effect. So yeah, I killed all the enemies. Gave me a chest. And then it says secret found. And when you die, it does show like enemies you've killed, how much coins you have, how much experience you earn, and then it tells you how many secrets you found as well. So there's secrets into the game. There's secrets now, guys. Flesh chunks damage enemies, causing them to spawn smaller healing orbs. Nice. Alright. Grab that. Then the way to get back out of here is... So I guess that was a little spoiler. I'm sure you guys would have found it eventually, but yeah. You jump up there to that little teleport. So you gotta look around the level. Speaking of which, that made me think of like, you know, finding secrets. Having to kind of not just run through each level as fast as possible, but because I don't really like doing that to begin with. I don't like just shooting a couple bad guys and just heading to the door, and then, you know, going to the next room, shooting bad guys, heading to the door. I try to kill every single enemy within each room because it's just more fun for me. But a lot of players probably don't do that. They're just trying to beat the game. But if you added things like secrets, like you put into the game just with this update, if you added more stuff like that throughout the level, I think it would kind of encourage more exploration and kind of increase playtime, definitely, because you're kind of looking for different things within the level. And, you know, I like looking at things anyway. Like, I'll just walk around an empty room just 10 minutes at a time, just looking at all the cool stuff. But possibly... So we got secrets. Okay. So, like, I think it'd be cool if you added different chests, because I know we got like the pyramid looking thingies that give you, that you actually have to pay money for to open up, and then you'll get like a certain perk or something. And I like those, but adding other chests that don't require coins to open, you know, just a random like chest, and it doesn't have to look like the normal chest, like actually just make it look like a box. Or like maybe a gold coin purse or something, where you're just kind of walking around the level. You're kind of looking around, like there'll be a bag of gold there, and just pick it up. Or it'll be like, you know, actually look like a treasure chest. You walk over to it, you open it up, it gives you coins. You know, so it would encourage the player to actually kill the bad guys, then take some time in each room, kind of look around, see if there's any chests. And the chests could spawn randomly. I don't know if that's a possible thing to do. So kind of every time you play the game, they would kind of spawn in different spots. Because that could be another way of earning currency within the game. Or even earning, because I know there's the secrets, right? But you could also put, like, whenever somebody dies, like, you found this many chests, or you found this many, like, golden skulls or something. But I really like the idea of chests, and the chests having some type of reward in them, whether it be gold, or maybe experience, or maybe health, or maybe just like a random ability that you can equip to your weapon, you know, stuff like that. But I think that would add quite a bit to the game. Also, just throwing this out there, crazy idea I had is, and this might just totally, I mean, this would definitely change the game. So if you're not down for it, like, I get it. But let me try to put my thoughts into words here. So I think you should always have your main default weapon. Always have this gun right here, right? And this will not go away no matter what. It won't run out of ammo. You'll still have to get energy to use the secondary button, but that's, you know, the same pretty much on every gun. But, you know, I'll never run out of ammo, anything. Because I've really been pushing the developer to put ammo into the game. Because I think first-person shooters, especially roguelikes, if you just have guns that can fire constantly, it takes away the fun factor because you can just kind of pray and spray. So I kind of recommended adding ammo, so you have like limited ammo per weapon. So you have to pick your shots more. You can't just pray and spray. You actually have to go around and look for ammo boxes and ammo packs. And I think, again, having to look for ammo boxes and whatnot would encourage exploration. So that's one of the things. But there's drawbacks to having ammo and, so on and so forth. I also recommended kind of a cooldown mechanic. So if you don't want to have ammunition, make it so every gun can overheat. So if you just hold down the fire button, for let's say like 15 seconds at a time or 10 seconds at a time, if you hold it down for more than 10 seconds, there's going to be like a 3-second cooldown where like the gun will just kind of freeze up. There'll be like smoke that comes out of the barrel, and you'll kind of have to, you'll be vulnerable for like 3 or 5 seconds. So that would kind of discourage people from just holding down the fire button and praying and spraying. So I think that could be a good way to fix that issue. If you don't want to put ammo, make it so there's, a cooldown, so you don't just spam the fire button all the time. Or another idea, just throwing this out there, I kind of really like this idea, but having it so when you pick up a secondary gun like this, basically any gun aside from this one, when you pick up another gun, every gun has a shelf life, meaning every gun can degrade over time and eventually break, right? So eventually, like every gun will have like a little health bar, and when that health bar gets to 0, it breaks. Kind of like in Minecraft when you're using a pickaxe, right? If you use that pickaxe too much, the meter goes down. Once it gets there, it just breaks, and you have to make a new pickaxe. Be similar in this. When it gets down and you've used it as much as you can, it breaks. That gun's gone until you find it again, right? So that would also discourage the praying and spraying, because the more you fire the gun, the more that gauge is going to go down, and then eventually that gun is going to break. So you might have a really cool weapon, but if you use it too often, it's going to break. And the only way to get it again is to, buy another chest with the gold you've earned, and possibly have that be in the chest, right? Or maybe an enemy drops the weapon, and you can pick it up, and then, you'll have it again. And the thing is, like, well, it degrades over time, but can you repair the weapon? I think that would be a cool mechanic. So like if you have a cool gun that you don't want to break, because you don't want it to break and then you have to go through the process of finding it again, you could find toolboxes or like little wrenches or something throughout the level, again, which would encourage exploration. You find a little toolbox, you open up your menu, let's say you hit the tab button, it opens up a little menu kind of like this. It shows you all the different weapons you have in your inventory. It shows you all the different abilities. And then you could use one of the toolboxes, click on the toolbox, click on the gun you want to fix, and then it would bring that health bar a little bit higher. And then, so you basically repair it, a repairing mechanic for your weapons. I think that could add a lot to the game. A little bit of RPG elements to the game. Just my opinion. Thought of it today when I was playing. I honestly really like the idea because it adds more of a challenge, because then you're thinking about, am I using this gun too much? Am I praying and spraying too much? I should probably stop just killing the enemies and running to the next room, slow it down a little bit, look for some ammo boxes, look for some repair kits, some toolboxes so I can actually fix my weapons. And then you could even have perks for the guns. So it's like, this weapon is more durable now. So like, you get to choose, like, you'll have one free perk that you can put on a gun. It's like, what gun do you want to be more durable and to last longer before breaking? Hit that perk, click on it in your inventory, boom. You've just upgraded the armor for that gun, and it won't break as fast. So you'll have it in your inventory longer because, you'll basically be able to use it more. So I think a mechanic like that could really add a lot to this game. Again, I know that would change a lot of things. I think it would change things for the better. Because right now, thing is, I feel like every first-person shooter, especially roguelikes, need lots of different challenges. They need to help the player feel like they're actually in control of their destiny. And I feel like the way you do that is by giving them different ways to fix their weapons and upgrade their weapons, and having to kind of spend time looking for secrets and looking for different boxes, and constantly trying to upgrade their character to make it as far as they possibly can. So whenever they die, which happens a lot, whenever they die though, it should always feel like it's the player's fault for dying. It's not because the game was too difficult or because of like a cheap kill or that just too many enemies spawned. It should always feel like it's the player's fault, and you know it's on the player to go back for the next run and do things differently, whether it be like, hey, maybe don't use this gun so often, maybe go and try to get better upgrades for the weapon so it doesn't break as often, maybe kill more enemies and pick up gold pieces so you can upgrade, you know, so you can buy those upgrades for your weapons, so on and so forth. I feel like that's a really important thing for roguelikes especially. So the more of those things, the more of those options you have to upgrade your character, upgrade your abilities, upgrade your weapons, the more of that stuff you add into the game, the more fun it becomes, because you're putting more control into the player's hands, and it doesn't feel as cheap when you die. It always should feel like it's the player's fault, and it's not because the game was just not well balanced, or it should never just feel like, oh, I got lucky, you know? Because sometimes, currently, you know, you'll spawn with a good gun. Like, I think this is a pretty good gun, and I got lucky this time. Other times you'll spawn with a rocket launcher, and the rocket launcher, it's not so lucky because it's not, because both fire modes take energy, and it's not always easy to get energy. So it feels like sometimes you get cheated. But even if you spawn with maybe not a great weapon, you could still maybe even sell that weapon in a weapon shop, or just use that weapon, not really worry about if it breaks, or not really worry about getting more ammo for it. Use that weapon till it breaks. No big deal, because you're saving the currency to upgrade different weapons. You know what I'm saying? So just some ideas there, but the idea of a durability meter and eventually having guns break and having to like find things in order to keep the guns from breaking could be a really fun mechanic. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there, and would definitely encourage replayability, because the more things you add like that, the more variables you put into a game, the more times the player is going to want to keep playing it to see how they can change the outcome. Because basically the goal of the game is, you know, get to the end or get the highest score. And you're always wanting to kind of tweak that every playthrough to kind of make the outcome what you want it to be. And that's a big part of roguelikes. So the more of those things you can add into the game, the more fun it becomes. So, but that's just my opinion. Other people might have different opinions. That's just my opinion. But, yeah. Cooldown on weapons, durability, limited ammo. You could add all of those. It would be amazing. Or just one of those. Or just two of those. And even if you don't add any of those, the game's still, you know, it's still fun. But it could be a lot more fun with those mechanics, I think. Either all three of those, a couple of those, one of those. Take your pick. But, yeah, I think it would add a lot. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. So let me kill these guys real quick. And I'm dead. Okay. And I'm dead. So I spawn with the rocket launcher. So, you know, not the best weapon to spawn with. And again, I brought this up earlier in the stream. I don't think you should just spawn with the secondary weapon. Because it's kind of like, hey, you got this gun, but hey, here's a better gun. You don't really need to use this gun anymore, you know? But if you made it so you didn't find one of these platforms until a little later on in the game, or you have to get like a gun from actually spending currency to open a chest to get a gun, I feel like that would feel a little bit better than just spawning with a random weapon. Because again, you only spawn with the weapons that you've unlocked. And I think the only way to unlock weapons is to get a certain amount of gold, like a total gold, like since you started playing the game, like a total number of gold pieces, or maybe you have to like kill a certain number of bosses. I'm not entirely sure how you unlock different guns, but I think I have 3 different guns unlocked. So there's only 3 different guns that will spawn in this starting room, as opposed to every gun in the game. So if you just took that away and made it so every gun in the game was possible to find within a chest, maybe like 10 minutes into the run instead of just straight off the bat, it would vary things up a lot more. But again, just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. Okay, so let's continue onward. take out these baddies. Oh, Lord. So these guys still jump, but they don't jump as much as they used to jump. They kind of run at you a little bit more and kind of bob and weave and strafe, which I like. Whoa, that was cool. There's a guy right over here just looking at me. See, having the ability to just shoot every projectile feels a little bit too easy. And again, I don't know if that's a new thing or a thing that's been in the game the entire time I've been playing. I don't think it has. I think it's a new thing, though. But I just now started noticing it. So, I don't know. Also, really cool thing. Oh, God. I'm going to die. Really cool thing. He put statues. The developer put some statues. I was like, yo, add some statues, bro. Like, take some of the enemy models, turn them into statues, put them throughout the game. This is the only statue I've seen so far of an enemy, but it looks pretty dope. Let me just try to kill this guy real quick. Actually, let me upgrade my health. So I want to take a peek at this guy. First time I walked in a room with this, I was like, yo, this guy, I thought he was like gonna hit me at first. I'm like, wait, that's just a statue. But I love the idea of having the enemies in the game like be put on display like as a statue like this, because a lot of times you don't get a chance to look at the enemy because you're too busy killing the enemy. But now you can kind of look around it, look at its kind of its cloak, look at its hands, kind of get a close-up and personal look. And eventually I think it's going to like put some lore that you can read, like maybe a plaque that says, you know, what type of enemy it is and whatnot, to kind of give you some lore behind, like a little backstory of what the enemy is. But I really, really like, you know, having just display model statue type things like this throughout the game, because one, it looks cool. Two, you can just kind of take your time and look at like the time it's taken to craft these things. Because all these enemies he did himself. Like he actually made them, like crafted them. Like he didn't just take something off the Unreal Engine store. He actually like sculpted these himself. And a lot of times when you're just like shooting them, running back and forth, you know, worrying about shooting different enemies, you don't have time to appreciate the work that the developer has done. And it's just really cool to just get up close and look at these guys. I mean, look how awesome that is. It's got like a six-pack, really legit looking arms, claws, even got fingernails on his arms. I didn't even realize they had teeth. But I mean, it looks dope. So I hope we see a lot more enemies on display like that, just in statues, because that'd be really, really cool. I really like these rooms. And also, like, these rooms with the statues, it would be kind of cool if there were like 3 separate chests here, like, you know, those pyramid type chests you have to spend currency on. If there were 3 of them right in this room in front of the statue, like, you know, you could have like a red one, a blue one, and a green one, and each of them would cost different amounts of currency, but they'd also upgrade like 3 different things. So like if it was like, you know how when you upgrade your character, there's those like 3 boxes now. Like the green could be for maybe regeneration, like the red one could be for health, and then like the blue one could be for shield, right? And right now the only way to upgrade those, I think, is to, you know, fill up your experience meter and then, you know, hit the level up button, and then it does that. But if you actually want to spend gold on it, you could have these rooms here with the 3 pyramids, 3 different colors, and you could upgrade. If you have the gold for it, you can upgrade them manually without having to wait for your experience to rank up, you know? So I think that would be a cool way to do it, having kind of just a room like this with like a nice looking statue, couple boxes in front, and then again, it gives the player the option on how they want to upgrade their character. If they want to spend the money to upgrade their character, if they want to save that gold later on to buy some perks, so on and so forth. The more options you give the player, the more the player feels like he's in control, and the more fun the game is, because a game is not as fun when you take the control away from the player. Like in Call of Duty games, it just kind of, for me, it just kind of, well, some of the old ones, it just feels like it's an on rails experience. Like you're just running and gunning, running down a corridor. Nothing you really do matters. With these type of games, it should feel like every choice you make has consequences. So if you spend gold, you're not going to have gold later to either upgrade your weapon or upgrade your perk, so on and so forth. If you whatever it is. And you could also have it so some of these rooms, could have the pyramids, but you could make it so instead of costing gold, you could spend either gold or you could spend health. You could make your health a type of currency, and also you can make your experience a type of currency. So like say, for example, one of the pyramids might cost 50 gold. So you can pay 50 gold. Unlock that pyramid. The other pyramid might cost 20 health points. So I got 28 health points. So if it costs 20 health points, take off 20 health points, I'm only left with 8 health points, but the perk might have been worth it. But see, and a lot of roguelikes do that. And also the experience. You might just be close to like maybe ranking up, or, use that experience, cuts your meter in half, but you got a perk. And sometimes those perks could be beneficial, and other times you may have wasted that perk and it gives you something negative. Also, a lot of roguelikes do that. I think in a game called Ziggurat, sometimes you use your health bar as currency. It's like, sacrifice 50 health, get this perk. And I've done it before. And sometimes it's a really good perk. Other times it's a negative perk. And then you're kind of screwed because you've already cut your health bar in half. And now enemies do like triple damage or something. So again, adding that sense of not knowing. You know what I'm saying? It makes the player uneasy. You never know what to expect. Each run is different. The more variables you add, the more different the runs are going to be, and the more times you're going to want to keep playing the game. And with a game like this, that's about doing run after run after run, dying a lot, getting slowly better and better, upgrading your character. That's really important, I think. But let's continue. Oh, Lord. And also something that I have noticed is, I know these rooms are kind of, they're not procedurally generated. I know they are, I think there might be some procedural elements within the levels. But I'm pretty sure the developer said that, he handcrafted each of these areas himself. He handcrafted them, and then the game puts them together in different orders. So, you'll have one room the room won't change much, but it'll change the order it puts them in. And the more rooms you have, I think there's 64 different rooms in the game currently, and it puts those together in different ways. So every run does feel different. But if there were some procedural elements to the rooms, I think it could help, because I feel like a lot of times when I walk into a room, the enemies always spawn in the same areas. I think different enemies do spawn, but they'll always spawn within the same area. Like these big rooms here. Like the enemy in this room always spawns right here at the beginning of the door steps, right here, just at the beginning of the door. And then there's enemies down here that always spawn on this platform. So you always know where they're going to spawn. I don't know if there's a way to kind of randomize that a bit more, where the spawns will kind of vary per playthrough. I don't know how hard that would be to do. I don't know if that would unbalance things, but I feel like they kind of spawn in the same places every time, and you might not notice it at first, but when you put quite a few hours into the game, because these type of games, you put a lot of hours into, because it's, you die and then you restart, and then you die and you restart. The more times you do that, the more you're going to start memorizing where the enemies are spawning, and the less fun the game is going to be, because you know what to expect. You're like, okay, I remember this room, they're going to spawn over here. So if there's some type of way to randomize that so that enemies don't spawn in the same spots every time. It's one thing to have different enemies spawn each time, right? And that's good, but also to have each spot where they spawn be different. That's another thing that I think is important. And if you add turrets and stuff eventually, like you could always have the turrets maybe in the same spot. So certain things, it's fine if they stay in the same spot. But as far as like enemies that move and kind of float and stuff like that, I think they need to be placed in different positions every playthrough. And they might already do that, but I feel like they do spawn in the same spots every time you enter a certain room. Maybe I'm just imagining that, but I feel like they do spawn. Like I feel like they spawn in the same spots. And again, I don't know if there's an easy fix for that, to just kind of randomize where they spawn. And again, that could add a whole lot of issues in itself, because maybe they'll like spawn up in a corner, maybe they'll spawn, you know, somewhere and it won't feel right. So maybe have some enemies spawn in the same spots, but if you had the majority of enemies kind of switch up each time, spawn in different spots, that could add a lot, because again, you want every run to feel different, not just in the way the rooms are set up, but in the way the enemies spawn within those rooms. Otherwise, it starts feeling repetitive, and you don't want games like this to feel repetitive. Because once they start feeling repetitive, that's when players stop playing, because it just feels like the same thing over and over and over again. And again, adding those different variables helps it feel less repetitive. And the more variables you add, the more you randomize it, better it feels. That doesn't go for every game. Like certain games, you want to have, you know, a narrative and whatnot. But games like this, you want to feel different every single run. And again, I'm not an expert. I just play a lot of these games, so I know and I know the games that I play more, and I know the games that I don't play as much. And the games that I don't play as much are the games that don't have as many variables, that don't feel as random, that feel like it's not the player's fault when you die, it's the game's fault when you die. And yeah. So anyway, let's continue. Let's take out these guys. Oh, buddy. Take it out. See, like when you're shooting these dudes, you don't have time to kind of get up close and look at them, see how they look. A lot of times you're way back here and you're bobbing, you're weaving, and there's projectiles exploding and whatnot. You don't have the time to appreciate each enemy. So by having those rooms that kind of showcase the enemies on statues and whatnot, I think it's really cool. The developer also put some cool enemy models that are like on spikes. There'll be like random corpses sticking on a spike and stuff. Those look pretty legit. Again, I'm confused which door I came through, because now they're both yellow. They're both gold. By adding that mechanic that you have to press a button to open it, though, to unlock the door, that could fix it. That might fix it. And I'm not saying every time you walk to a door you have to... Well, like every time you first walk to a door. Like once you unlock the door, it stays unlocked, and then it will just open automatically like that. But until you hit that button, until you unlock it, keep it shut. And have the color stay blue. And it stays blue until you hit that button. Then it unlocks, changes to gold, and then if you happen to go back, then I guess it you know, stays gold or whatever. But I think adding that mechanic to hit, you have to press something. You have to give some type of command for it to actually work, I think would make sense. So let's keep moving here. I have noticed with this update, I've come across some doors that don't open. And I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to happen. I think there were a couple runs where I came across a door and I cleared out the entire room. I made sure, like I went through there, it's not a single enemy in the room, but the door would still not open. So I'm thinking that's a glitch, because that didn't happen in the last update, from what I could tell. Dark Plagueis, how you doing, man? Dark Plagueis is in the chat. Again, guys, if you want to check this game out for yourself, it is called Darkest Depths. You can get it on Steam for $10. It might be going on sale sometime closer to Halloween, I'm not sure. And I also have a couple game keys that the developer gave to me that I'm going to try to give away in a couple of these streams. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. Haven't figured that out. But, yeah. But it's definitely worth the $10, guys. Like, I put, like, probably 16 or 17 hours into this game so far. Like, it's probably one of my most played Steam games. And I just keep coming back to it. And the more updates happen, the more content that gets added to the game, the more, you know, the developer puts variables and mechanics and upgrades and perks, all that stuff, the more you're going to want to go back and play it each time. And the thing about these games is the more randomized and varied elements that are in the game, the more replayability it gets. That's why I love these games, because you can keep playing them and playing them and playing them. And for like $10, it is totally worth it. Like, after the game is finished, the price is going to go up. So if you want to get it a little bit cheaper, get it now while it's in early access. But yeah, $10, guys. I think that's a steal for this game, like, honestly. And the developer actually listens to player feedback, unlike a lot of other developers. They just kind of ignore their player base. They're like, oh, I know what's best for the game. I know what works. I know what's fun. And yeah, like, they might think they know what's fun, but what's fun to one person isn't going to always be fun to the other person. And I try to keep that in mind when I give these suggestions, because I think, you know, weapons that will break over time would be an awesome mechanic. Other people might be like, oh, that's stupid, bro. I said that the sprint mechanic would be a really good thing, and I think it is a good thing. Other people were saying, oh no, sprinting, we don't need sprinting. I feel like you kind of need sprinting. And I still feel like ammo is important. If not ammo, then a cooldown mechanic, overheating mechanic, something like that. I'm still gonna keep pestering this guy until that happens. It might never happen, but I'm still gonna stand on my soapbox and say that it needs ammo, or it needs a cooldown for guns. That's just me. Anyway, let's continue. I think this might be our last playthrough, because it is getting kind of late. It's 1 in the morning now. So I've been playing a little over an hour. So this will be our last run. We'll see how far we can get. I'm going to upgrade my character real quick. I'm going to upgrade my health. We want to take out some of these baddies. There's 2 of them in here. Alright. And I can already upgrade my character again, so we're going to upgrade our damage. What do we got? And we got the ice shard. Again, I am not a big fan of the ice shard. Just, it makes me dizzy. I know the dev said it does a lot of damage when it hits an enemy. I guess if you just walk into the enemy and if it hits it, it will do it. But I find it really distracting, and it makes me dizzy. I don't know if it makes anybody else dizzy, but it makes me dizzy. I think there's a better way to do it. I don't quite know what that way is, but I think there's got to be a better way to add that without it looking the way it does. I could be wrong though. I don't know. And again, guys, if you own this game, you got any ideas, feel free to drop some comments. If you don't own the game and you just thought of something that might look cool, or you thought of something that might make you want to buy the game, again, drop the comments, guys. The developer, he does watch my streams, he does watch my videos. I talk to him all the time on his Discord link. So if you got any ideas, no matter how crazy they sound, drop them in the comment section. Can't guarantee that they'll actually end up in the game, because this is a one-man development team, and it takes a lot of time to fix certain things. Like to make one character model, it takes a couple days, you know. So, with that being said, though, the developer does like feedback and ideas. So, if you got any, drop them in the comment section. Gonna keep going a little longer here. I think we go through here. Yep. Take these dudes out. See, when you're walking these green things, it slows down time, and it slows down the sound effects. Kind of cool. Well, I'm gonna fall asleep. That's what I get for staying up so late. Got negative energy. Okay. Oh, hello. And I'm almost dead. Oh, I was just about to upgrade too. That would give me full health. Alright. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up this stream. Once again, this game is called Darkest Depths. You can get it on Steam for around $10. If you do get it, let me know. And make some videos about it, because I want to see your guys' gameplay. Because I feel like I'm one of the only people who makes gameplay for this game, because I feel like it's kind of flying under the radar at the moment. So I'm hoping more people get it, more people play it, more people, you know, so I can try to beat their high scores and whatnot. The developer is working on kind of like a high score leaderboard type thing. But as of now, I could just, you know, take a screenshot, post it on Twitter, and you could try to beat my score. It's going to take some doing, guys, because I'm pretty good at this game. I mean, okay, I probably suck, but I feel like my high scores are relatively good most of the time. But anyway, if you do get the game, let me know. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook. All those links are on my main channel page if you want to check them out. And yeah, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to get updated when I do upload, make sure you hit that little bell icon as well. Until next time, my name is Adam, and remember, keep counting the game on. Toodles!